Hi, hello, sound check.
Hey guys, are we ready?
Six rounds.
12 races.
Tough competition.
Real racing.
From Bahrain to Saudi Arabia.
Iconic tracks.
And breathtaking destinations.
This is the second season.
This is the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
We're ready to go.
That's it?
That's it.
If you're not in Daytona, this is the place to be at this weekend to experience great motorsport and experience great racing. We are at the Yas Marina circuit, as you can easily recognize in the backdrop with the W Hotel. We are at that special Formula One circuit together with the promoter Walter Lechner and well, a legend in GT3 Cup car with Harry King. So we want to talk a little about the fourth round that we will see today, the first race of that weekend. And Walter, let me start with you. We have a full grid, 18 cars, very international field, 3 different classes. So I could imagine you're very proud of the action we will see very soon.
Yes, sure. It's great to be back in Abu Dhabi. It's a really great facility. It's nice to have Harry as our driver, standard advisor on board. You know, he's really experienced as a race driver, and the young guys and even the masters drivers, they can learn a lot of him. So yes, good to be back. Good to have 18 cars on grid. It's a good lineup between pros, pro-ams, and masters drivers. And yes, sunny weather, 28 degrees. That's good.
Much better than in the UK, I could imagine right now, Harry. And you have driven that track. Walter told me he's never been on that track with a race car. So give us an idea, how much fun is it here in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, it's certainly a highlight of any driver's calendar. Certainly when you come here, you know that the Formula One finale's here. It's got a special feeling about it in the air, and it's really a joy to drive. Of course, you've got a lot of runoff in some other areas, but certainly Sector 3 is very closed off, and it's a real challenge for the drivers, particularly in qualifying, where you need to challenge up close to the wall. So yeah, it should provide some fantastic racing, some heavy braking zones coming from big high-speed straights. So it's certainly something you don't want to miss.
And you as a driving standard advisor, taking care of the young guns here that want to follow your footsteps as a 4-time Porsche Super Cup winner. Let me know, what do you think about the young guns here?
Yeah, the level of competition, it rises year on year in this series, and of course having people like Yannis Diak, James Wallace, you know, the Porsche Great Britain Junior, and obviously drivers even coming from Australia, it shows that it's such an international series, and it's definitely the place where people want to make the learning and put in the hard work before the season begins in Europe.
And it's a back-to-back race. We were in Dubai last weekend, so it's quite demanding, I could imagine, also for the organizers.
Yes, it's challenging because also in terms of logistics, you know, we finished just 6 days ago in Dubai. We had to pack up all our stuff, our cars, our containers. We have to move them here to the Abu Dhabi facility, start again, building up everything, being ready for 2 test days. You know, we always start, especially the double headers in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. We also have lots of testing up front the race weekend. So the drivers have enough time to prepare themselves, to get used to the track, to get used to the track limits, especially otherwise they get problems with Harry. And yeah, now they are ready, now they have to deliver. Qualifying was on already just 10 minutes ago. And I have to say it was really exciting until to the end. I think Yannis Diak, he set it the fastest time in the last lap or the lap before, which shows up that we have a good lineup, a good mixture between young drivers coming from Germany, coming from England, coming from Australia. Even Alexandra Bateva, she did a really great job. I think she was P3 in Pro-Am category. And yeah, she's our only woman in the field, and she's really driving midfield, and he's working up and more up again. So probably we can see her on the end of the season, probably under top 5. Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Before we will be live on the grid, we mentioned that we had a race weekend in Dubai, just the weekend, the last weekend, and we want to wrap it up, sum it up for you, and then we will be live on the grid.
The fascinating metropolis of Dubai, with its 3.6 million inhabitants, awaited the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East for the 3rd round of the season. After the kickoff event together with the WEC and new territory together with the Formula One in Qatar, the Dubai Autodrome was now set to become a very special Porsche party, both on and off the Grand Prix track.
Every year it's special to come back to Dubai, of course. Make it happen together with the local importers, with Al Nabudar and with Porsche Middle East and Africa, to see so many happy faces, not just in the car, outside the car, but also in the paddock, like families. The people are enjoying the brand Porsche, the people are enjoying our racing. So yes, we can bring a lot of credibility with our series to the region, to the Dubai Autodrome.
Yeah, the event was great. We saw two very thrilling races here. Our partner Lachlan Racing, they are doing a great job, and it's very important for us as a factory to have somebody here in the region who you can rely on. You know, it's professionally organized, the team is nice, the atmosphere is good, and they made it possible to have this very great festival atmosphere here in our paddock.
In Dubai, the championship also welcomed a new driver to its ranks. Caleb Sumich, a fast young man from down under, entered the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East stage for the first time and was aware of the high level of competition that awaited him.
No expectations for this weekend, just all about learning, making the most of it and picking up as much as we can from the boys that have probably got a little bit more experience in the European categories.
A familiar face, on the other hand, is the speedy Bulgarian Alexandra Vateva. Her strong performances so far have made her a permanent competitor in the championship this season.
I'm very happy for the opportunity to be doing the whole championship. It's been quite of a long break, I would say, but again, I'm very happy I'm in the car.
A rivalry based on friendship is a characteristic of the Saudi racing team, a spirit that impresses and has established itself over the years. Once again, the competitors will push each other in the purest and fairest way possible to progress together as a team.
Yeah, well, I mean, sadly, we're best friends as well, so it makes it really more interesting. And the team is putting everything together, and also us drivers, we're trying to improve day by day, session by session. So it's going to be a very interesting competition between me and my teammates.
It's always in the race where things get tricky and we have to work together and not against each other. And I mean, testing, practice, qualifying, we just do our best and we always end up, so close.
Anticipation and excitement were in the dark air before the start of the night race on Saturday evening. The first of two sprint races that weekend saw a young German on pole position. Once again, 17-year-old Janos Stiak had shown his tremendous speed in qualifying and left his competitors impressively behind.
Yeah, always for sure, but Stiak's qualifying lap was unbelievable. So, but we're on our own journey and we'll do what we can, and obviously, yeah, we'll be P2, P3 will be great.
Janos Stiak was also in a class of his own in the race. Only shortly after the start did he briefly see the rear lights of James Wallace in front of him, before regaining the lead and defending it confidently to the checkered flag.
Yeah, my start was not so perfect. James had a better one, but yeah, after that I could overtake him and then just drove the race to the end.
Zoran Spreng put in a similarly impressive performance in the Pro-Am class. After a rocket-like start, the experienced German was able to overtake Khalid Alamadi and Saad Al-Saad to take his first class win of the season.
Yeah, the season so far went quite bad for me. 2 times DNF, 2 times I think P4 or 5, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really happy with the result. It's kind of a relief now. Yeah, I hope more to come.
And there was more to come just 1 day later. Janos Stiak also held the pole position for race 2. But then came the big surprise and a truly brilliant performance from Saad Al-Saad in qualifying. The Pro-Am leader put his Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car next to Stiak on the front row of the grid, causing great emotions for the whole team.
Yes, we're really pleased, thank you. It's an amazing result from him and Khalid as well. We were finding the speed through our 2 test days here, learning a lot, and now they've done it when they need to do it. So it's good to have some pros behind us.
After a turbulent start, however, Saad Al Saad had to let the lightning-fast pro drivers go, but was still able to celebrate class victory and thus extending his lead in the championship.
Of course, I want to win the overall podium, but I lost it at the first lap. So next time, I know I can be in the front row again and maximize as much as possible.
As in race 1, James Wallace put up a tough fight against pole setter Janos Stiak. The 19-year-old Brit generated exciting duels and made a strong overall impression with another second place, even though his German rival crowned his weekend in Dubai with a double victory.
Yeah, it's a shame to let Janne through on the same corner, but we learned a lot, and again, hopefully we can defend for a bit longer next time and hope for a chance at a win at Yas Island.
One man should also make a difference in the Masters class in Dubai, Bang Si. The Japanese driver won both races, leaving Mike Mim in the dust, although the Bulgarian was able to defend his overall lead with 2 third places.
We're here to challenge ourselves, you know, and improve, and that's what it's all about. And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, but you keep pushing, you know, for the next one.
And the next ones are already scheduled for the following weekend, when the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East will compete on one of the most futuristic racetracks on the calendar. The stage is set for round 4 on the Yas Marina Formula One circuit in Abu Dhabi.
We are here at Abu Dhabi. Yas Marina circuit, just an hour southwest of our final of previous venue from a week ago. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good morning. Hello to everyone around the circuit watching at the venue. This is race 1 for round 4 of the 2024-25 Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East Championship. We passed the first halfway point in the championship. Now we go into the second half where points are going to be all crucial. As you can see, it's a little bit later in the afternoon. It's round about 4:15. And we're going to go racing in towards the later part of the afternoon, but the temperatures are still going to be quite warm here in Abu Dhabi and at the Yas Marina circuit. We're using the full Grand Prix layout, 5.2 kilometers, 16 turns, and it's going to be quite exciting with 18 current spec 992 Porsche Carrera Cup cars all blasting around one of the best circuits when it comes to the most futuristic circuits when it comes to those you find on the Grand Prix calendar. Hello everybody, Scott Woodward here to guide you through all of the action. It's going to be quite an exciting second part to our UAE doubleheader. Of course, we had Dubai Autodrome last weekend. Now we're here at Yas Marina. And it doesn't just take being on foot or in a car to get around here. You can, of course, use the marina to get around by boat or by other ways of sailing around here in the marina section. So the Grand Prix course awaits our Carrera Cup Middle East drivers, and it should be an exciting occasion for half an hour's worth of racing or round about 14 laps, whichever one comes up first. And as you may have seen in qualifying, there is still no stopping the championship leader, Janos Stiak, with pole position that even broke the lap record as well. Well, to get a feel of the atmosphere down on the grid, let's hand over to Eric Engesser, who is down there on the grid as the cars are heading round and they're getting lined up. So, Eric, give us a flavour. What is it like down there in the bright sunshine in pit lane here at Yas Marina?
Thank you, Scott. And I'm here with Paul Spooner, the team principal of the Saudi racing team. And we will see your drivers starting from 4th and 5th position, waiting for the cars to go out. And I think especially with Khaled, he was so fast in his last lap. A slight mistake cost him a lot, but how happy are you with the results so far in qualifying?
Of course, very happy. It's Khaled's first pole in Pro-Am for this season, and as you said, he made a bit of a mistake on his last lap in the 3rd sector, which potentially could have put us 2nd overall. Saud's right behind him within a 10th. They're both fighting for the championship. Saud leads it by a few points in front of Khaled, so first of all, let's get off the start line through the first lap, and then they can fight it out.
We know how crucial the start is, so everybody is relaxed and ready to fight?
Yeah, we're relaxed, ready to fight. We know what to do, so it's down to the boys now.
Crossing fingers for you. Thank you very much, Paul Spooner, and good luck for the race. Scott, up to you.
Thank you, Eric. Good to hear from Paul Spooner, the team boss of Saudi Racing. Again, I have to echo what they've been saying, particularly as we talked about from Dubai as well. Those two drivers as well, Saud Al Saud and Khalid Al Ahmadi, certainly setting the pace in Pro-Am. It's really, at the moment, a two-horse race for them in the championship. Alexandra Vateva is third in class, and she's not too far away either. She starts from an impressive 7th, and we'll get to that as we go through the grid when they head around shortly. But the drivers are now in cars, and you can see it is championship leader Janis Stierk who appears to be leading them off as they head out onto the circuit to grid up ahead of 30 minutes or 14 laps of the full 5.281 kilometre Yas Marina Grand Prix circuit, whichever one comes first. So, of course, we'll go through the grid when they are nearer the start of race time. But in terms of the qualifying, it was another pole position for championship leader Janis Stierk. He has so far taken 5 wins from the first 6 races, 12 in total this season. He's certainly aiming to make it 6 out of 7 this afternoon if he can get a good start from the front row and beat his man on the front row to turn 1. It's actually that man coming through the shot right here in the silver number 14 machine, the rapid young Australian Caleb Sumich. Only here for the UAE rounds at Dubai and Yas Marina, but certainly making the impact, and he will start on the front row of the grid, one of his best qualifying results to date. He would have set a time looking back at Dubai in race 1 in qualifying that could have put him in the top 5, but that got deleted. He started both races effectively from 6th and 7th place on the grid, but still picked his way through to get a top 5 in each. So in terms of the classes, we have 3 on offer on the grid here: Pro, Pro-Am and the Masters. So Pro is for the faster, younger drivers and those who are the fastest on the grid. Pro-Am is for those who don't necessarily do this full time, or for those who are still in the infancy of their careers and want to keep on pushing forwards. And for the Masters, it's for any drivers aged 40 and over. The only restriction is that they cannot have held an FIA International A or International B grade racing license. Essentially means that we don't get any, much as we like them, the likes of ex-Grand Prix drivers and experienced sports car races, it simply means that we don't have them running off into the distance, and the next time we see them is on the podium with a winner's trophy. It allows the enthusiasts and those that love to go racing because they simply can and that they love it and they want to be in a Porsche Carrera Cup car racing against others on a grid like this in an official factory Porsche Championship. It's a great incentive for them to do so. You've got some very capable drivers who can get up into the mix and certainly cause 1 or 2 surprises when it comes to results. So the weather conditions here at Yas Marina at the moment, my current weather reading shows me it's 23 degrees at Yas Island. About 46% humidity, wind is about 16 kilometers an hour, and there is 0 chance of precipitation because the past couple of days it has been literally nothing but clear blue skies, beautiful sunshine, a little bit of a breeze in the air is what I would call perfect conditions for motorsport. So the drivers are making their way around to the grid. They're allowed to go out in no particular order, which means they don't have to go out in grid order. And you can see down there is plenty of activity with Porsche team members, various team members for the squads that run these cars in this championship. We've got marshals down there as well. I'm sure Eric will be down there at some point as well to have a chat to 1 or 2 of our drivers and see how they're feeling. But this is the first chance they'll get to run these cars since qualifying. It took place at around about 1:30 this afternoon local time. And there's so many stories up and down the grid to watch out for. So in terms of the entry list, we've got 18 Porsches this weekend. You may remember that we had 13 last time at Dubai. We've had a couple of drivers come back after they've raced previously in the season, plus 3 brand new names to the championship for this weekend too. The 2 returnees, one did attend Dubai but couldn't make it due to illness. That was Mark J. Thomas, the Canadian, who races in the Masters class in car 17. He's thankfully back. His car sadly spent the weekend on jack stands all weekend in the garage, but thankfully he is back to fighting fitness and back in the mix in the Masters class. The other returnee, we haven't seen him since the opening rounds at Bahrain at the end of last year, and that is Saif Al-Amri. He is back on track too, the Emirati driver who will be looking to make an impact for Rabdan Motorsport, the Emirati team. The 3 newcomers in the field, we have 2 cars from the crack squad from Italy, the Enrico Fulgenzi racing team, that being in the Masters category Alessandro Giannone and in the Pro-Am category Andrea Girondi. So I'm sure any Italians watching on will be cheering on their boys. And also we have this car as well. This is the Omani driver Shahib Al-Habsi. Good to see him in the mix. I think this records tell me this might be his first race for a while. The last records I have of him racing anything was back in 2020 in Euro Formula, and he's also done a little bit of F4 racing in various championships, but he's back on the grid. And if you're a 80s Group C sports car fan, you might recognise a bit of inspiration on that livery. It's white, purple and yellow. If you think back to the late 80s, there was a certain Group C sports car with a big cat on it, which won Le Mans back in 1988, that car has an livery clearly inspired by. As you can see, the activity is building down on the grid. We saw a shot there of our pole sitter and championship leader, 17-year-old Janis Stiak from Germany. He has been running around this circuit pretty quickly all weekend. How quickly? Well, in testing yesterday, he set a time that was only fractionally better than the lap record set by his teammate from last year and last year's Middle East Carrera Cup champion Overhaus, and then did it again in qualifying this morning, and he's lowered the lap record by 0.2 of a second. Let's head down to the grid then once more and hand back to Eric, who's going to soak up some of the atmosphere before race 1 here at Yas Marina. Eric, down to you.
Yeah, Scott, you mentioned it. He is the young gun here in the field, 17 years old from Germany. He's the youngest race winner in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany when he won on the Sachsenring. And he's again on pole position. He already won 5 out of 6 races. And let's try to have a quick chat with him. Janne, again on pole position. I mean, you know that feeling. Ready for the race?
Yeah, of course. My goal is again to win the race, of course.
Conditions seem to be perfect again. You were struggling a little bit in Dubai with the starts. So how confident are you that the rest will not overtake you in the first corner?
Yesterday I had 2 practice starts, so of course a bit more comfortable now. Anyway, of course, otherwise I try to overtake them again.
That's what we've seen. Good luck, Janis Stiak. So this is the man on pole position in his red and yellow DHL car. And we will walk a bit further down on the grid. So in the meantime, it's up to you, Scott.
Thank you, Eric. And again, good to hear from our pole sitter. Feeling calm, feeling relaxed, and looking to try and again extend his championship lead overall and in the pro category. We'll have a quick run through some of the other points tables whilst we wait for Eric to line up his next interview in terms of the standings. So in the overall standings and also effectively in Pro-Am, it is going to be Janis Stiak who leads the way with 145 points after 2 more victories at Dubai. He leads ahead of James Wallace on 111. Then Angus Whiteside, who was held up in 3rd place in the overall category. Then Saud Al Saud, who leads the Pro-Ams, and Khaled Al Ahmadi. Let's go back down to Eric, who has our next interview down on the grid.
Yeah, we play ping pong, Scott and myself, and now I'm here with James Wallace, the Porsche Junior GB, who is on 3rd position behind the man from down under, Caleb Surmich. And James, well, qualifying now in the 2nd row. How confident are you that you maybe can get the red and yellow car in front of you this time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not the most optimal lap by myself in qualifying, but we've started in this position before and we've had good starts. So fully focused on the race today, looking to enjoy it and learn a bit more, of course, as ever.
And you had brilliant starts in Dubai, so how much are you hoping for another one and maybe this time can stay ahead of Janne?
You know, I've just got to focus on what's in front of me. A good start is obviously what I'm trying to achieve all the time. Let's see what we can do, and can't wait for lights out.
Us as well. Thank you very much, James, and good luck for the race. And again, up to Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. And again, good to hear from James Wallace. And you make a very good point. In both of the races at Dubai, he did get a better start than Janis Stiak. That's one of the things, if he has any weakness, Janis Stiak just needs to get a better launch off the line. They were practicing starts at the end of testing yesterday, doing some 2x2 starts. They take 2 cars, roll up to the grid, run the sequence of 5 red lights that you see at the top of the screen here, and then kind of race away to kind of practice starts. They don't get the chance to do that, and they're not allowed to do it on the formation lap. They were strictly told by race director Chris Norman that you're not allowed to do practice starts of any kind onto the grid. So we'll see how Janne can cope with that if James can again get the launch on the 2 guys in front. Let's head back down to the grid as Eric has another interview for us down ahead of race 1 at Yas Marina.
So we spoke to Paul Spooner, the team principal. Let's hear what the driver is telling us. Khaled, great qualifying. Little mistake. Maybe you could have been even a bit further up the grid, but how confident are you for the race now?
Yeah, we'll have a great race, inshallah. So we have a good pace from testing. So let's see how it turns out in the race, inshallah.
And is it all about the victory in the Pro-Am class, or will you fight for an overall podium here?
Yeah, position is a position, so we will fight with everything we have.
Good luck for that. Thank you very much, Khaled Al Ahmadi. And, well, back to our commentator.
Thanks, Eric. And it's good to hear from one of our Saudi racing drivers. Those two drivers have been relatively strong, and as they pointed out in the VT, looking back at Dubai, those two drivers, Khaled Al Ahmadi and Saad Al Saud, are good friends, but of course they're also teammates, and when they're on track, they're also rivals to each other. Saad Al Saud had that brilliant qualifying for race 2 in Dubai when he managed to get a front row start, couldn't quite keep pace with the pro cars and ran deep on the first lap at turn 6, but still managed to pick up the Pro-Am victory. And of course, those two drivers will be in the mix for the GCC honours as well, also battling with Shihab Al-Habsi and Saif Al-Amri. That's for drivers who are based within from the Gulf region, and they'll be fighting for that top 3 between those 4 cars as well. Of course, Khaled Al Ahmadi starts 4th, Saad Al Saud starts 5th, and those two Saudi cars might be in the Pro-Am class, but they certainly appear to be the class of the field in that particular category. And the cars behind them certainly might be battling for 3rd place backwards, but it could be quite an interesting 3-way scrap between them, depending on what happens from 7th back down to 9th. Looking at Mike Mim on the screen here, which is the leader in the Masters category, had to submit to the fast Japanese driver Banksy, who was top of the Masters in Dubai in the first 2 races. So we'll see if we can come on top of that. And as the Porsche Taycan safety car heads around the circuit, let's head back down to Eric on the grid for another interview.
Yeah, we are a bit back on the grid with a very experienced and very fast driver who is here as an instructor for the man in our back. But, well, we have to mention it. He's in the Pro-Am class. He's on P16. So quite a difficult task for him, this race, Christopher.
I won't say difficult, it's more challenging because we were here last weekend in the Abu Dhabi 6-hour race where we drove the same car but with ABS, and it's only his 2nd time ever without ABS behind the wheel, and I think he did a really good job. And we're about to see 14 really action-packed race laps, high-octane racing ahead of us, and I think it's going to be a really exciting one.
And I guess it's fabulous also for you as a racer and a racing fan to see 18 Cup cars here, such an amazing international grid.
Yeah, I mean, the sport is growing down here in the Middle East, and seeing so many different nationalities on the grid, from professional to the Masters category, is just phenomenal.
Thank you very much, Christopher. We will enjoy the race. Thank you. Good luck for him. And, well, we have to clear the grid. And, Scott, it's you, and enjoy the race, everybody.
Thank you very much, Eric. Fine work, as always. And as the grid is now starting to be cleared, we had the 3-minute signal and the 1-minute signal for the grid to be cleared. Then, once they are ready, they'll get the green flag and the cars will head off. One single formation lap, they're allowed to weave from side to side and put some heat and temperature and pressure into the tyres and brakes. And then once they're done, remember, no practice starts of any kind. They'll head back round, the cars will line up, the green flag will fly at the back, then they'll get the 5-second board and then watch at the top when they're all lined up for the 5 red lights in F1 style, as they'll come on one by one, and when they go out, we'll be racing for 14 laps or half an hour, whichever comes first, in this, the first race of round 4 of the 2024-25 Porsche Carrera Cup Championship. And here is the grid. So Janis Stiak, championship leader, starts on pole position. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is the young Australian Caleb Sumich in car number 14. He's looking to try and get a good start from the front row if possible. Row 2, it's James Wallace, who's going to try and get a rapid start from the second row in 3rd, alongside the first of the 2 Saudi racing cars, Khaled Al Ahmadi. Could have gone a bit higher, but made a mistake in qualifying, has to start from 4th. His teammate Saad Al Saud completes the top 5 on the 3rd row. He's alongside Angus Whiteside. He got held up also in the final sector. He has to go from 6th, trying to get himself up alongside Wallace and also Janis Stiak if he can. Now back to row 4, a really impressive lap from young Alexandra Vateva. It equals her best qualifying performance in a session. She'll start in P4 and she's 3rd best of the Pro-Am cars so far. Could she get her 3rd Pro-Am podium? She's got Søren Spreng, the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Pro-Am champion, alongside, and 8th on the grid. Rounding out the top 10, making his Carrera Cup Middle East debut, the Omani driver Shihab Al-Habsi for Pros on Huber competition, alongside another debutant who tops the Masters and takes pole in that category, Alessandro Giannoni for the Enrico Fulgenzi Racing Squad. Double Dubai winner Banksy in the 7x7 number 66 car starts in 11th on the grid on row 6, alongside the Carrera Cup Scandinavia veteran Krista Andero from Sweden in the Proton Huber competition car. Then we go back to row 7, where we find Peter Brecker from the Czech Republic for GT Sports Technology. He's alongside the Masters points leader Mike Mim from Bulgaria. He's got some work to do from back in 14th. Row 8 is where we find the second of the Enrico Fulgenzi racing cars, Andrea Girondi, who makes his debut in the championship alongside the returning Saif Al-Amri, the Emirati driver for Rabdan Motorsport. At the back of the grid, it's a return, thankfully, for Mark J. Thomas after illness. He starts in 17th alongside the Kyrgyzstan driver Stanislav Minsky for Team GP Elite, and that's the 18-strong squad on the grid approaching race number 1 of the weekend. So Once again, 23 degrees in the air, no chance of rain whatsoever. It's beautiful clear skies. The shadows are lengthening. It's around about just before 4:30 in the afternoon, getting set for racing to get underway. And this is the only chance they'll really get to lay a little bit of rubber on the grid before racing gets underway. Should point out that these drivers only have 2 sets of tyres over the entire race weekend, so they really have to be careful how they use them. Tyre management, that in lasts particularly through free practice. It lasts through both qualifying sessions and both races. So really, how you use the tyres and how much, how soon, is absolutely critical. Green flag in the air as the car set off. As I mentioned, they will weave the side to side simply to get some heat and temperature and pressure into the tyres as much as possible, to get the brakes up to temperature and also get the brake pressures right too. And also it's pretty key here how, even on the warm-up laps, how much you use the tyres, because you can dissipate heat through the tyre by braking, but of course do that too much, it can overheat the brakes. So you've really got to find a balance here on top of that as well. I should mention these Porsche Carrera Cup cars are quite the thoroughbred machines. They all feature 4-litre water-cooled 6-cylinder boxer engines sporting just over 500 horsepower. They have a sequential 6-speed dog box gearbox, a mechanical limited step differential, and they really are proper racing machines. Of course, this is one of 12 official Porsche Carrera Cup championships that bears the Carrera Cup name. When you look through the rest of the roster of Carrera Cup championships, you see it pretty much spans the length and breadth of the world. When you look through all the different championships that currently run, the Middle East is the latest championship to join the list, along with Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, Australia, Benelux, Brazil, France, Germany, Great Britain, Italy, Japan, Scandinavia and North America. And pretty much with the exception of, I think, Brazil and France, we've got just about drivers that have experience in some way, shape or form in about almost all of those different championships, and you've got about 10 different nationalities represented. That just shows how international a championship this Carrera Cup championship really is. It's also a perfect way for some of the Western-based drivers who race in Europe or race in North America, or even in the East in races, countries like Japan, with Banksy, for example. They get the chance to race on Grand Prix standard circuits like Bahrain, like the Losail circuit in Qatar, like the Dubai Autodrome here at Yas Marina, and they finish the season at the Jeddah Corniche street circuit in Saudi Arabia, supporting F1 in the winter period, or the Western winter period, if you like. And it means they can be race ready, shake off the cobwebs and be fresh for the European season, whilst everyone else is effectively hibernating. There are 1 or 2 championships that also run. There is the Southern European Championship, which is also running the Porsche Sprint Challenge over in Spain and Portugal. Quite a few cars over there too. But for these drivers here, they're all electing to race in the sunshine here in the Middle East and making full effect of it. So the cars then making their way around to the end of their formation lap. And again, once they get around turn 16, no practice starts. They're not allowed to excessively weave the tyres. They have to form up steadily in 1-by-1 formation, because race control, headed by race director Chris Norman, will be watching very, very carefully. So Janusz Stiak is going to be hoping that this time he can nail the start this time and actually get the cover off the 2 cars around him, particularly Caleb Sumich on the front row of the grid, and James Wallace, who we know, having watched him back at Dubai, is a demon starter when he dumps the clutch. He should be one to watch for third on the grid. He starts directly, physically behind Janusz Stiak on the grid, so he can get away. And what can the 2 Saudi drivers do? Angus Whiteside's got progress to make up from 6th. And what about the likes of Alexander Vateva, Zoran Spreng, Shihab Al-Habsi battling in the Pro-Am class? So, 18 cars, 14 laps, or 30 minutes, whichever comes next. The green flag flies, ready for some 9,000 horsepower to shake the ground at Yas Marina. Watch for the top, 5 red lights, and race 1 for round 4 of Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East is go. And again, Janusz Stiak doesn't get the better start. He pulls across initially. James Wallace is alongside Caleb Sumich on the run down towards turn 1, and they squeeze him round the outside, and Wallace is going for it on Stiak around the outside for the lead. They turn their way through turn 1 for the first time. A couple of cars running wide over the curves as they come through turns 3 and 4 for the first time. It'll be Stiak that leads. Wallace in 2nd place. Sumich is in 3rd. Up to 4th is Khaled Alek Mahdi. And already Angus Whiteside in black and purple has split the 2 Saudi racing cars. He's up to 5th from the start. Khaled Alek Mahdi going for 3rd down the outside on Sumich, but already, as it was in Dubai, it's Stiak versus Wallace for the lead initially, out of turn 5, and now down the long back straight, charging up towards some 150 plus miles an hour towards the big braking point at turn 6. This could be a real pinch point here if they're not careful on the brakes. Wallace trying to weave around, get some more temperature as Alec Mardi tries to go back for third on the outside of Caleb Sumich. They hit the brakes under towards turn 6 and 7. They've all got through cleanly single file. And everyone appears to mind their P's and Q's. Little tap there between Peter Brecker and Banksy. That was just outside the top 10 by the looks of it. But already, Alec Mardi is putting the pressure on the young Australian, Caleb Sumich, who couldn't hold second from the front row of the grid. Down towards the remodeled turn 9, and Sumich has gone deep into that left-hander. There's a big lock-up from Søren Spreng. Another great start for the German Porsche Carrera Cup Pro-Am champion. And both Søren Spreng and Shahib Al-Habsi have got past Alexandra Vateva at the start, so she's down to 9th position and to the bottom of the, not to the complete bottom of the Pro-Am category, but she's down to 5th. And I think she's going to be the one that she's battling mainly with Søren Spreng and Shahab Al-Habsi for that final podium spot in Pro-Am category. The two Saudi racing cars appear to have it, in terms of pace, potentially locked down, but Søren Spreng is going with them in this early lap. But at the end of lap 1, it is the championship leader and pole sitter Janusz Stiak who leads the way by just about 0.8 of a second. So Stiak leads, Wallace second, the top two trying to clear off already, and it's Caleb Sumich third, Soudal Soud fourth, Whiteside fifth, and it's Alec Mardi sixth. And up the inside into turn 1 goes Banksy, repassing Peter Brecker, and that now puts him back up into 12th position, and it puts him third into the Masters category because Alessandro Giannone, the Enrico Fulgenzi squad, is in the lead from a demon start from Mike Mim also. He's the Masters points leader, and he's up into 2nd place ahead of both Brecker and Banksy. So a great start from the Bulgarian, who's a regular in the North American Championships, both in the sprint and endurance categories. And he's made a good start to get himself up into P11. So the 18-strong pack charges down the back straight once again. And this is very much like we saw in Dubai. Janusz Stiak trying to push the pace here early doors. James Wallace trying to go with him. But unlike Dubai, it's Caleb Sumich who is holding on to 3rd place initially and in the pro class and overall. There's another change down the inside there. Looks like that was Krista Andro having a pass on, looks like maybe Peter Brecker, I think, into turn 6. Further back, this is Søren Spreng, who's actually attacking Alec Mardi. So Alec Mardi was on the Pro-Am pole. He's now dropped from 2nd, and now he's down to 3rd, and under brakes Søren Spreng lost the back end a little bit, and that also saw the 34 car of the Omani driver Shihab Al-Habsi check up a little bit. He's in the white, yellow and purple machine, and that's the battle going on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th in Pro-Am. And the one person who could benefit from that, who's on the tail of them, if those three come together and come to blows, the one person who could benefit from all of that, if the worst should happen, we hope it doesn't, is the silver and pink car just there, number 56, Alexandra Vateva. She has 2 class podiums to her name already this season. She would dearly love a 3rd. She was, I imagine, very happy with that qualifying performance. Went sub 156 in qualifying. That's the target lap she was looking for. And you can see Soudal Soud has got a car between himself and this 4-car pack for the podium spots in Pro-Am. And he's now also got Angus Whiteside chasing after him. There is Mike Mim in the number 27 machine. Masters points leader, 3rd in the Masters category. Now make it 2nd because he's also got past Banksy. So the Japanese driver who won both races in class at Dubai has now dropped backwards to 12th overall and 3rd in Masters. So there is Janusz Stiak, 17 years old, youngest ever winner in championship history in Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland last year at the Sachsenring. Also got a win in his cameo appearance at Porsche Carrera Cup Italia last year. He raced here in this championship, was teammate to eventual champion Theo Overhaus. Didn't achieve a victory, but even ever since the start of the midpoint of 2024, something just clicked for the young German. The pace has just been there pretty much since the start. So there's a 3-way scrap there between Shahib Al-Habsi, Alexandra Vateva, and the leader in the Masters class, Alessandro Giannone. As the pack charges down towards turn 9. And Angus Whiteside, who has set the fastest first sector of the race, we're on lap 3 now. The fastest first sector for Angus. A little bit frustrated after he was held up in sector 3 in qualifying. Wasn't as high as he wanted to be. And as they carry on, this is the fight for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in the Pro-Am category between Søren Spreng, the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Pro-Am champion. He's in the wonderfully livery 2-tone blue and fluorescent yellow, number 5. The 2nd of the Saudi racing cars in green and white, that is Alec Mardi, who was on the class pole after qualifying. There's Shihab Al-Habsi in white, purple and yellow, and then the silver and pink machine of Alexandra Fateva. And then Alessandro Giannone rounds out the top 10. Here comes Whiteside, looking up the inside to take away 4th place and to make it an all-pro 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy as pie. Up the inside into turn 1. And even though Saud Al-Saud will try and get him back on the exit, and he does defend, that was a bit cheeky there from Angus Whiteside. But Saud Al-Saud dared to look up and put his nose there to force Whiteside to give him the room. But so far, Whiteside has the position. And now he's cleared Saud Al-Saud. His next target is to try and close in the 2-second gap to Caleb Sumic in 3rd place. And if he does manage to get past, it'll be a carbon copy of the 2 races in Dubai, where if it holds that way, it will. This is Banksy going back up the inside of Mike Mim, squeezing his way up alongside the Bulgarian. And now it's the drag race down the back straight towards turn 6. Banksy will tuck into the slipstream, grab a toe, and be reaching speeds of nearly 250 kilometres an hour. But does he dare try and win the braking duel at turn 6? It's a long run down here as Zoran Spreng runs deep into turn 6 and just about holds on to second in class from Khaled Al-Akhmadi. And Banksy has completed the move, so he's made the pass on Mike Mim. The Japanese driver is up now into second in Masters. That also puts him into 11th. Battle on for 4th in class between Shihab Al-Habsi and Alexandra Fateva. She's gaining confidence and speed with every lap she drives in this championship. And the one thing they've been pushing her to do a little bit, to push her out of her comfort zone, is to just be prepared to be a bit more aggressive. Go for the move, go for the overtake, put the pressure on. The one thing I will say is that Shihab Al-Habsi was locking up quite a lot in qualifying, so that might be to Alexandra's advantage if she can find a way through. She's also got to be careful she doesn't lose another spot overall to the Masters leader, Alessandro Giannone. Now we should point out that Alessandro Giannone, along with his teammate Girondi and also Shihab Al-Habsi, are not listed for points, so they're essentially guest drivers this weekend, so they're not going to score. They might feature in the result and they might get class positions, but they will not score anything. So effectively, Alexandra is at the moment 5th in class, but she's going to score the points for 4th in class effectively, because Shihab Al-Habsi will be invisible for scoring because he's not down for points. So the point for her is that it's more getting in front of him and then trying to chase after possibly Khaled Al-Akhmadi, because he's currently some 2 seconds up the road just in front of them. That will be agonising to try and get through. Tighter run through turn 5, and she'll now lock into the slipstream down towards turn 6, where Janusz Stiak is already spread eagling the field. 2.6 seconds the advantage after 4 laps. And again, James Wallace is the nearest challenger, but just like in Dubai in those first 2 races, doesn't quite have the outright speed to really keep up with him. James Wallace, quick driver, no doubt. He, of course, is the Porsche Junior GB representative. He, of course, is running in Porsche Carrera Cup GB. I believe he's also looking at a campaign in one of the European Carrera Cup Championships as well this year. Very fast driver, and having an issue there has gone Saif Al-Amri. Now, the question is, did he jump or was he pushed? The fact the car's not moving is a concerning sight, and is that possibly going to prompt, if he can't get it going, a safety car? Well, we'll let the clerk of the course, Chris Norman, decide what he wants to do. And here's a replay of what happened, and the answer is... that's Krista Andorra going down the inside. Oh, well, the picture tells the story. Round goes Al-Amri, and Krista Andorra says, sorry, didn't mean that. And the race will carry on just with Saif Al-Amri now further down the field. There's still a yellow flag at turn 6, and safety car has been deployed. So, looks like Saif Al-Amri's car is unable to be moved, so that means we will go safety car. Now, this gives a chance for everyone else to catch back up. It gives James Wallace a chance to close back in on Janusz Stiak. It brings the Pro-Am battle back together, because you've got Saud Al-Saud, Zoran Spreng, Khaled Al-Akhmadi, Shihab Al-Habsi, and Alexandra Vateva, all 5th to 9th overall, and they're all going to be nose to tail on the restart. So that's going to be interesting. We'll see if Zoran Spreng can make a pounce on that one. But the person it's really hurt the most is the man at the front of the field, Janusz Stiak, because he had a 2.6 second lead. It's now been completely eradicated. Another big benefactor of this safety car is definitely Angus Whiteside. Since he's cleared Saud Al-Saud, he's been trying to close down that 2 second gap to Angus Whiteside, to Caleb Sumic in front of him in 3rd place. Now, on the restart, if he can stick close to the young Australian, under his rear wing, there's a great opportunity here for him to try and steal third place away. And then if he can stay with James Wallace and possibly clear Caleb quickly, he could even put the attack on to try and snatch second if James isn't already embroiled in a scrap with Janis Stiak. So thankfully, Saif Al-Amri is out of the car and safe. The car could look a bit better, but I'm sure the team will hammer that out for race 2 tomorrow. Also, sadly, Krista Andre's car is parked behind the barrier, so both cars involved in the incident out of the race, but both drivers are okay, and that's the main thing on that side. So, safety car deployed then, and it's the first time we've had a safety car since Qatar, and there was some talk in the driver's briefing about better etiquette behind the safety car. It all appears to be much more better behaved than it reportedly was in Qatar, but everyone now calmly single file. And now that the incident's been cleared, we will see if the safety car lights go out. Now, when we get to turn 9 is when we'll figure out whether we're going back again or not, because when we get to turn 9, that will determine if the safety car lights go out or stay on. It means we're going to be going back to racing this time, or we'll be going for one more lap. Now, the circuit is clear, so good effort by the marshals and recovery teams to get both cars behind the barrier incredibly quickly. And at the exit of this corner here, we'll watch for the safety car if those lights go out. If they do, everyone's got to be on their toes, and it will then fall to Janis Stiak to essentially become the safety car himself. He will then have to pull the pin and decide when the race gets back underway. Now, safety car lights are still on for the moment. So we might well be going for another safety car lap, it looks like, because it would have gone out by now. And the Porsche Taycan safety car leading the pack around into the complex around the marina and the W Hotel. Really impressive facility here. And it was so striking when it was first built around sort of 2009. Same year, of course, it held its first F1 Grand Prix. Since then, the facility has just kept on being a marvel of modern engineering in terms of racetracks, and still hosts the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to this day. So, race order will give you a fill-in of where everyone is at this point under the safety car. Janis Stiak, the championship leader, has led from pole position and leads the way from James Wallace in second place. Caleb Sumich in third. Angus Whiteside fourth, and that's the 4 top Pro-Am drivers. Then from 5th place, it's Saud Al Saud, the Pro-Am leader, and he's leading a 5-car train for position in that class. Saud Al Saud 5th from Zuren Spreng in 6th. Khaled Al Akmadi 7th. Shihab Al Habsi 8th, and Alexandra Vateva in 9th. Then in 10th place, it's the Masters leader Alessandro Giannone, but remember, he's invisible for points, so effectively the points would be going to Banksy effectively instead, who is 11th from Mike Mim in 12th. That's Andrea Girondi in the second of the Enrico Fulgenzi Italian-run Porsches. Then Mark J. Thomas in 14th place, Peter Brecker in 15th, Stanislav Minsky in 16th, and the 2 cars we've sadly lost are Saif Al-Amri and Chris Andro after they tangled at turn 6. So the championship so far has been to Bahrain, where it was supporting the finale of last year's World Endurance Championship. Then it visited, not long after that, in 2024, the Losail International Circuit in Qatar, supporting Formula 1. Then we had the first of our 2 double-header events at the UAE, Dubai last weekend at the Autodrome, then here at Yas Marina this weekend in Abu Dhabi. And then after this weekend, they've got a nearly 3-month wait until the next 2 meetings, which are essentially going to be back-to-back, as they are this last weekend and this. And it'll be at Bahrain once again, but they will be supporting Formula 1 once more. And the season finale a week later will be at the Jeddah Corniche circuit in the streets in Saudi Arabia. And that is going to be quite a spectacle, particularly with how fast this race is. Speaking of racing, we're about to get back to it because the message on the timing screen and the screen you see there, it says safety car in this lap. So the lights will come out on the exit of turn 9. And that means that Janis Stiak, the man who's currently leading as the safety car picks up the pace, he then becomes the safety car. He chooses to back the field up and decide when to restart the race. It's his choice to choose when to pull the pin and to get things back underway. So there it is then. Safety car lights are out. And now the safety car will zoom off. And Janis Stiak will back the pack. All 16 cars remaining left together. And then it'll be his turn to decide when to go. So what kind of a restart can Janis Stiak pull off? Can James Wallace, who's been a demon starter from a standing start, can he get the jump on Styriak? Remember, they can't pass until they pass the safety car line and take the green flag. Then they can overtake once they've passed it. What can Caleb Sumich do from third? Can Angus Whiteside get into the mix here, having got a poor qualifying earlier on? And what about that five-way Pro-Am battle? Al Saud, Spreng, Al Ahmadi, Al Habsi and Vateva. What could happen between those 5 cars? And also there could be a tight scrap going on between the top 3 in Masters, Giannone, Banksy and Mike Mim. This could be 8 or 7 rather electric laps here at Abu Dhabi. The green flag is in the air, but when does Janis Styriak put his foot down? Now he does. And James Wallace has gone with him, and they've been both more awake than Caleb Sumich was, because Sumich has got Angus Whiteside and Saud Al Saud all on his tail as the green flag flies, and we're back to racing Yas Marina for the first in race 1 here in Carrera Cup Middle East this weekend. And once again, Janis Styriak back to racing speeds with James Wallace trying to keep on his wheel tracks. It's then Sumich 3rd, Whiteside 4th, Al Saud 5th, Spreng 6th, and Al Ahmadi, Al Habsi and Vateva and Giannone leads the Masters class. That's the top 10. Down towards the hairpin at turn 5. Under brakes, Styriak holding firm. Wallace keeping close as they come out, and then again back onto the power, back up through the gears, back to some 250 kilometers an hour plus on the approach towards turn 6, the huge braking zone, the biggest braking zone on this circuit. And as they charge down, Wallace again, decent restart to keep with Styriak, but the young German just has that ultimate pace to keep with him. We did see for some drivers towards the end of the first race under the lights at Dubai, some drivers managed the process better. That was a possible change for the Pro-Am lead there between, or the second place between Zoran Spreng and Khaled Al Ahmadi, and it was for second. Al Ahmadi has taken the place, so up to second place to make it a Saudi Racing 1-2. Spreng goes back down the outside under brakes, but will go deep and will allow Al Habsi back up the inside. And there's message on the screen, but contact between cars 3 and 52. So Saud Al Saud and Angus Whiteside under investigation. So we'll let the race director look into that one. But that's interesting. That's between the 2 cars currently running in 4th and 5th places, Angus Whiteside and Saud Al Saud, who at the moment is again running away with the Pro-Am lead. It's now a Saudi Racing 1-2, but that stack up is still between Al Ahmadi. There's also the incident between Al Amri and Andrea also under investigation too. But again, that's one for the race director post-race. So back to racing laps once again, back under green flag, and it's now 1 second the gap between Styriak and Wallace, and a further 1.6 seconds back to Caleb Sumich, who has got Angus Whiteside on his tail. But the young Australian's got the measure over the Carrera Cup GB Pro-Am champion from last year. Caleb Sumich, who was a regular runner in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Australia, did a handful of rounds towards the end of the season in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, managed the top 10 at Surfers Paradise, and he's now planning a full season at assault on the Carrera Cup Australia Championship this year. So this is really good practice for him to get into the mix. Down the back straight. Styriak, Wallace, Sumich, Whiteside. That's the top 4 in Pro. The next 5 cars are all Pro-Am. Saud Al Saud is going with 4th place Whiteside. And then in the rest of that order, in the top 5 in class is Al Ahmadi, from Spreng, from Al Habsi, and then from Vateva. And the 4th and 5th battle in Pro-Am's got to be careful, because just behind them is that 3-way dice for the Masters lead between Alessandro Giannone, Banksy, and Mike Mim. So that's got about, what, 1.4 seconds, no more, less than that. That's about 1.2 seconds between them. So that could be pretty close. But it seems as though, as he proved in qualifying, taking a brand new lap record with it and breaking Theo Overhaus's existing lap record by, in qualifying, at least 0.2 of a second, that Janis Styriak still has that outright pace to run clear. So the field working its way through the Marina section underneath the W Hotel. Looking at Zoran Spreng there, Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Pro-Am champion from last year. Currently holding that final podium spot. 5 laps to go in this first race of the weekend. You can see the shadows lengthening as we get into the later part of the afternoon. It's about 5 to 5 local time. And again, just gap is 1.4 in terms of lap times. Stiak was 4/10 quicker last time by, a 56.3 for Stiak, 56.7 for Wallace. And I get the feeling also looking at lap times, I think that really Shihab Al-Habsi is, just for lap time wise, is kind of holding up Alexander Vateva a little bit. Only reason I say that is because at the moment, everyone behind Al-Habsi is kind of running to his pace at this point, because he's just done a 58.3, Vateva's done a 58.4, Giannone a 58.6, same for Banksy, 59.1 for Mike Mim. So I feel as though that if Vateva can clear Al-Habsi, then there's a chance that she could possibly try and close the gap a little bit. And her tyres were in pretty good condition towards the end of race 1 at Dubai. She was one of the fastest cars on the circuit by the end of the race. So they'll close up together. That's between Al-Habsi, Vateva, Giannone and Banksy. That is 8th down to 11th positions. Down towards turn 9 once again. It's always a tricky situation when you're both the hunter and the hunted. You're chasing a car in front, but you've also got to keep one eye behind you for the car that, even though it might not be in the same class as you, they still want track position. A good exit there from turn 9. Not as good a run through the right-hander there for Al-Habsi, and Vateva surely must have an opportunity soon. She's right on the rear wing of the Omani driver, and just consistently putting the pressure. She's practically almost nudging the rear bumper of Al-Habsi's car. She's getting that close. So surely a move must be in the offing, and just moving around, trying to put herself into Shihab's mirrors, trying to distract him here to force him to replicate the lockup he had. A small lockup there for Vateva, who makes a mistake. Into turn 16, she runs wide over the curb, and that's going to open the door for Alessandro Giannone to get through, but he kind of backs off a little bit and lets her have the room. But it has just given a couple of car lengths, and here goes Giannone having a look. Just pokes his nose up the inside, but Vateva has it covered, takes the racing line, and that's put him offline a little bit. It compromises his exit, and now puts him under threat for the Masters lead from Banksy. And he would love to make it 3 Masters victories in a row if he can get past the Italian. Here's our top 4, all Pro-Ams, and going with them is Saud Al Saud. And his teammate just trying to close up behind him. So first, second and third in Pro-Am are in the same shot. So head down the straight. And has there been a position change? No, there hasn't. I thought there was a position change between Vateva and Giannone since we last saw them, but Alexandria is getting back up there, and Giannone again having a look up the inside, and almost thought about making a dive down into turn 6 past Vateva, but he managed to just about get it anchored up. Took that tighter run through the first part of the switchback section. The exit out of 7 through the flat out curve of 8. Now back towards turn 9. And it's so frustrating when you're just closing in on the car in front, and you know that you're quicker, you know that lap time wise you can and will run quicker than them. But just in terms of placing your car in all the right places at all the right times, that's exactly what Al-Habsi's doing right now. And she's flashing the headlights. Well, they told her to be a bit more aggressive. She's certainly doing that. She's using all the race and driver tactics. And of course, there is that Masters battle to look here. Let's focus on that for a second, because it is Giannone versus Banksy. Remember, the 2 Enrico Fulgenzi cars, which is the 2 black and yellow machines, and also Shihab Al-Habsi, they are non-point scoring cars. They're essentially their guests in the championship this weekend. So even though Vateva is 5th in Pro-Am, she'll get the points for 4th if she stays there, regardless of if she passes Al-Habsi or not. You can see the gap that's building between the top 3, and that must be agonising to see the top 3 just being so close to what could have been a podium, and it could still happen. There's still 3 laps to go, but just right on the tail, and Vateva's as close as she's ever been. She's right under the rear wing of the Omani driver. You can see she really wants to go for it. There could be an opportunity into turn 5, and she's daring enough to go for an inside pass. There's Peter Brecker chasing after Mike Mim. And again, Al-Habsi's not comfortable. He has to go defensive, and Giannone thought about the inside move too. That might compromise his exit. As we look at our top 2 heading down towards turn 6 again. Still Stiak from Wallace. The gap is a fraction under 2 seconds. Sumic and Whiteside make it 3rd and 4th in Pro-Am and overall. And again, look, you can see Al-Habsi is not comfortable staying on the racing line, because he knows that Vateva might make an attack, similar to Banksy. Well, Giannone there was going almost too deep into turn 6. He was trying to defend from the Japanese driver behind him. And the quartet wiggle their way out of 7. Should remind you that the Masters category, unlike the other 2, which is Pro and Pro-Am, they are allowed driving aids like ABS and traction control, whereas the Pro and Pro-Am cars have no driver aids whatsoever. So they are allowed a little bit of slip, given that they are not quite professional racing drivers and don't do this regularly for a career. They do it because they love it for fun. Coming up to the penultimate lap of the race. And I think now for Alexandra Voteva, the target is not to try and catch the top 3. It's just to get 4th position on track, because she's been stuck looking at the rear wing of Al Habsi's number 34 machine for practically the entire race. And the Masters lead isn't done really either. Banksy's putting that pressure on, and Giannone keeps moving to the inside as if he's thinking about making a move on Voteva, even though it's only for track position, not for class position. But that's just either him trying to put Banksy off by going offline to defend, whilst also thinking about distracting Alexandra at the same time. So this is the closest battle on track between these 4 cars. They're split off into their respective pairs now. And Mike Mim just there, you saw going through the shot, in 3rd place in class, is also holding on from the Czech driver Petr Breka. So the current Masters points leader is there, and again, look, Giannone goes to the inside line and goes deeper into that first part of turn 5. And see there, look on the exit as Giannone tries to defend. I think Voteva is as close as she's ever been. She's in the tow, and again, Al Habsi has to go to the inside line. Now, is this the chance Voteva needs here? Is she bold enough to go for a pass down towards turn 6? She's got the racing line, she thinks about it. Can she go deeper under brakes? No, she stays in the racing line. The one she's been working on is confidence under brakes, but she's literally as close as she's ever been behind Al Habsi, practically pushing him through 6 and 7. I'm certain the garage are thinking, come on, go for the move, overtake, push. But as they make their way down towards turn 9, this is more pressure rather than attacking, just trying to maybe force Al Habsi into a mistake. He made 2 big lockups in qualifying. A little wiggle there in the middle of apex of turn 9. There goes Zoran Spreng, who looks like he's on course for 3rd place in the class. This is for 4th. And still also Alessandra Giannone fending off Banksy, and both of them are keeping these 2 Pro-Am drivers honest. Meanwhile at the front, championship leader Janusz Stiak is onto his last lap of the race. Hasn't fully dominated this race like he did back at Dubai. The gap is, yes, 2.5 seconds, but it's not 3 or 4 or 5 seconds like it was in Dubai. We have had the safety car, so that has been a factor, of course, to close things up mid-race. But Janusz Stiak, again, whilst James Wallace is certainly the nearest challenger, Jana just appears to have that little bit extra to pull away and just to put in a lap that he needs. And I think the fact that he took qualifying, took pole in qualifying, not just pole, but broke the lap record set by his teammate champion last year, Theo Overhaus, says it all. He had much more left in him. And in terms of race pace, once he's out in front with a clear track, he just about has this under control. It was a better start, but it wasn't Dubai. I thought initially, looking at the camera shot from the front, that he might not have got away as quickly, but when he moved across to cover from Caleb Sumich, allowing James Wallace to go on the attack and take 2nd, and I did use all that start practice from last night, put it to good use. And Jana, of course, now kicking off the 2nd half of the season. We finished the first 6 races, we're now into the 2nd half. How much would he love to do that in just a few corners' time with another victory for the young German? Remember, he is only 17 years old. They get younger and younger, don't they? But seriously, 17 years old at the wheel of a Porsche Carrera Cup car, exactly the same car that they used in the Super Cup. It was impressive in the 2nd half of the season in his native Deutschland Championship. And once again, in this Middle East Championship, he continues to set the bar and continue to spread eagle the field and show everyone the way. He heads through the last couple of corners, and he'll add another piece of silverware to his 2025 tally once more. And out of the final corner comes Janusz Stiak to make it 6 wins from 7 so far. He kicks off the Abu Dhabi weekend in fine style. Janusz Stiak wins race 1 of the weekend and the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East in fine style, 2.6 seconds ahead of his nearest rival James Wallace in 2nd. And it is a podium for Caleb Sumich. The Australian takes his first podium in the championship with 3rd in the pro class, and overall a brilliant effort from start to finish for him after starting on the front row of the grid. Now then, what I'm watching now is that Shihab Al Habsi, what's happened on the last lap, because he's not come through. Alexandra Voteva has come through in 8th position, but Shihab Al Habsi's come through in 13th. Now then, I'm not going to speculate, but something has happened to Shahab Al-Habsi on the final lap of the race. We'll go through the rest of the order. Angus Whiteside does take 4th. It's Saud Al-Saud who takes the Pro-Am victory from Khaled Al-Akmadi and Zoran Spreng. That'll also be the GCC victory for Saud Al-Saud too. And Zoran Spreng 3rd in Pro-Am. Alexandra Vateva does take 4th. And then her last lap time was 157.726. So fine pace as far as I could see. Then Alessandro Giannone, who does win the Masters class on his first attempt. So congratulations to the Italian. Ahead of Banksy in 2nd place and Peter Brecker in 3rd. And Mike Mim was 4th. So Peter Brecker did get past. We held on to ahead of Mike Mim in the end. I know we passed him. So he did get past. Peter Brecker does take 3rd. Then Shahab Al-Habsi, for whatever happened on the last lap, drops from what would have been 8th down to 13th in the end. So unfortunate for the Omani driver, unable to hold on to the place. And then Mark J. Thomas, Stanislav Minsky, and Andrea Girondi didn't quite take the flag. Now, he was in the pit lane, so unfortunately, one of the Enrico Fulgenzi cars did not fully see the flag. And we had the safety car earlier on because we lost both Saif Al-Amri and Krista Andero after they came together at turn 6. So, the question everyone's still asking, how do you beat this man? Because so far, Janusz Stiak has got this championship pretty much firmly in his grasp. He's only been beaten once this season. That was by colleague Bernighausen back in Qatar. And sadly, Colin hasn't been in the championship since the end of Qatar. But Janusz Stiak has got a close rival in James Wallace. If James can get a better front qualifying spot and start on the front row, again, we know how good a starter he is. So there is a real chance that he could possibly claw his way up through the order, possibly even get a better start, pull alongside, and make it happen. But Janusz Stiak does still have that race pace that could well determine whether or not he holds on or not. So the cars make their way around into pit lane, where they'll come to the top of the pit lane in Parc Ferme. I know that our man on the ground, Eric Engessa, will be down there to have a chat to the drivers initially, and then they'll be heading around to the podium ceremony, where I'll be emceeing them onto the podium to receive their trophies. Then up to the number 1 board comes the championship leader. His 6th win from 7th races. If you're down there in the pit lane, watching here at the circuit, as he gets out of the car, your race winner for race 1 in Abu Dhabi. Give a cheer for Janusz Stiak. He once again, thumbs up. You can tell under the helmet he's got a rather large smile under his face, because despite the safety car, he held on and gets the congratulations from the Lechner Racing, his team members. And that will be another strong result for him. Of course, all the cars are in Parc Ferme, so they're not allowed to be touched by the teams as soon as they park up. 2nd place for James Wallace. More strong points for him to retain his runner-up spot currently in the standings. And a great effort for Caleb Sumich as well. So I think in a moment we can head down to Eric Engessa in the pit lane. We'll have a chat to our race winner once again. No, we'll go there in a few seconds' time. We'll get there in a moment. Of course, again, Pro-Am victory for Saud Al-Saud, of course, as well. Ahead of Khaled Al-Akmadi and Zoran Spreng. And a fine effort from Alessandro Giannone in his first race in the championship here in the Middle East. And he will certainly be pleased with that. Might not be scoring points, but certainly he'll take the trophy and the bragging rights that go with it. Banksy, of course, will get those points effectively instead, finishing 2nd in Masters. And then Peter Brecker, an impressive run after his battle with Mike Bim. And you can see there's a big buzz of activity, which will certainly be down on the ground before the drivers head up to the podium very shortly. And you can enjoy these views here as the sun starts to hang lower in the sky here at Abu Dhabi. It is now 5:10 in the afternoon, and regardless of what time of day it is a magnificent facility, a wonderful place to go racing. And they've gathered all 3 of our top 3 down there, so we might, when Eric is ready, we might have a quick chat with all 3 of them in a moment. So fine effort from Janusz Stiak. He'll have to try and replicate that tomorrow with qualifying and then race 2 in the afternoon. And if he can do that, and he'll have gone to the second half of the season or finished 4 race meetings with 7 wins from 8 races. So it's not quite the 100% record. There is 1 blot in his copybook, but he won't really care about that too much. All he cares about is the points, the victories, and the leading. Let's head down then to have a chat to our top 3 with Eric Engessa on the ground and our race winner for race 1 at Abu Dhabi, Janusz Stiak.
Scott, thank you very much. Here is the winner. Once again, congratulations, 100% pole position and the race win. And, well, you had to survive that safety car, the restart. Bring us a little bit through your race.
Yeah, the safety car was a bit more interesting then. Yeah, it was difficult to get into the rhythm again after safety car. But yeah, in the end it was enough and I could win the race.
It didn't look from the outside so difficult. So tell us, I mean, you seem to be really on a high, winning all those races. In terms of self-confidence, I could imagine batteries absolutely charged.
Yeah, of course. Tomorrow the goal is to do it again, pole position and the race win.
How much fun is it on the track now after the first race? Tell us.
Yeah, really much. I like the track. Of course, it's a Formula 1 track, so yeah, really nice.
Thank you very much. Congratulations one more time, Janis Diak. Yeah, a little applause. Shout out for him, and we're looking for the other two guys. Where is James Wallace? Disappeared somewhere. James, there he is. James, congrats. Another podium for you, and let's say 2 chances to get Janne, right at the start and the restart. Well, bring us a little bit through it.
Yeah, obviously, I think maybe we qualified a little bit out of position today. A mistake on my half in qualifying cost us a front row start and maybe a chance at Janne at the start. But yeah, he had a good pace all the way through the race. A lot of learning's gone on this week. A lot of people behind the scenes have been putting in effort. I want to thank especially my engineer in Russi here, but also my GB engineer as well, looking after me a lot. AJ, it means a lot. For you to be helping me as well. So good steps forward. I think there's a bit more in my mental strength, but other than that, I think the ability's there.
And there's another chance to put your black car tomorrow in the middle of the Parc Fermé. I could imagine you already dream of looking to a red and yellow car in front of you.
Yeah, obviously it'd be nice to stay in front of Janne for definitely more than that. He's done a good job so far at getting me back after the start, so hopefully we can qualify on the front row. Obviously pole's the goal, but yeah, I think a good start again tomorrow, and I think we should have a good fight.
Thank you, congratulations, and good luck for tomorrow. James, thank you. And the man from Down Under, Caleb. Congratulations, first podium. How does it feel?
Yeah, good. I feel awesome. Yeah, first podium in the Middle East, which I'm really happy about. Just need to work on my starts and safety car restarts and find a little bit of pace, a couple tenths here and there. But overall, third place, I'm really happy with it. And yeah, we've got another qualifying and a race tomorrow, so we can look at the data and work on a couple things.
How much fun is it racing with the wonderful GT3 Cup car on this fabulous Formula 1 track here?
Yeah, this track's awesome. I'm liking this track a lot. Each time I do a lap around here, it's awesome fun, especially when you find a bit of pace and you get the hang of it. It is a really fun track.
Tomorrow another one, and I could imagine you have enough space in your luggage for 2 trophies, right?
Yeah, hopefully we can get another trophy, and we'll see if we can get on the further steps up. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Crossing fingers for you. Congratulations, Caleb. It's time for the trophies. It's time for the ceremony. Thank you.
Indeed so. Thank you, Eric. I'll be heading around to the podium for the presentations very shortly. But again, congratulations to all of our top 3 overall, top 3 in Pro, our rookie winner as well, which is Janis Diak, to our top 3 in Pro-Am and to Masters as well. And of course, if you stay tuned, we might have some atmosphere down here. Maybe if we have some highlights as well from that race, if we do. And then once that's all happening and taking place, if you gather around the podium, if you're watching around the circuit, because the podium presentations will be happening relatively shortly, so stay tuned and enjoy the sights and sounds of post-race from race number 1 here at Yas Marina. Here are the results to run you through them. Janis Diak takes the victory, his 6th win from 7th races, with James Wallace just behind him in 2nd place. Another podium for the Porsche Junior GB driver. Caleb Sumich, he'll be delighted with his first podium in the championship. The Australian taking 3rd ahead of Angus Whiteside, up 2 places where he started back in 4th to make it a Pro 1, 2, 3, 4. Saad Al Saud takes the Pro-Am victory in a 1-2 for Saudi Racing ahead of teammate Khaled Al Ahmadi, and Zuren Spreng in 3rd to round off the Pro-Am podium. Just missing out, 4th in class, 8th overall, Alexander Vateva, who was battling race long with Shahab Al-Habsi. Then it's the 9th place man, Alessandro Giannoni, who wins the Masters class ahead of Banksy in 10th, then Peter Brecker and Mike Mim in 11th and 12th. Shahab Al-Habsi dropped down the order on the last lap, and he finishes 13th, ahead of Mark J. Thomas, Stanislav Minsky, and He was the last car to take the flag, and the 3 cars that we seemed to lose was Andrea Girondi, who pitted late in the race, and after the incident at turn 6, after they tangled, we lost Saif Al-Amri and Krista Andere. So, enjoy the sights and sounds of post-race for race 1 of round 4 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East Championship here at Yas Marina. I'll be getting in position for the podium presentation, so stay tuned. We'll be back with them very, very shortly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for our podium presentations. So if you want to gather around, and we'll get started in a second. First of all, if you enjoyed race 1, let's hear you make some noise. Very good. Okay, so let's now move forwards into our podium presentations. We'll start in reverse order with the overall top 3. So first of all, make some noise for the man in 3rd place with his first podium in the championship for Australia, Caleb Sumich. Great job from the Australian in his cameo appearance in the UAE. In 2nd place, back on the 2nd step of the podium, the Porsche GP Junior. Make some noise for James Wallace. Well done to James. Started 3rd, managed to get up to 2nd and kept our race winner honest. And again, more solid points for the championship. But once again, there's no stopping this man. He's back to the top step again. His 6th win from 7th races. Your winner from Germany, please go crazy for Janusz Stiak. Once again, the 17-year-old sensation from Germany. A brilliant effort from start to finish. Held control of the safety car and did a grand job. Well done. So, first of all, we'd like to welcome to present the Winners' Trophy, Dr. Manfred Breunel, who is Chief Executive Officer for Porsche Middle East and Africa, to Janusz Stiak. Congratulations to Jana. 2nd place trophy presented by Wissam Khalil, General Manager of Ali & Sons, and that goes to James Wallace. And the 3rd place trophy presented to Caleb Sumich by Mohammed Al-Hashmi, the Track and Motorsport Manager for Yas Marina Circuit. Well done. And if all 3 drivers can gather to the top step for a group photo. And once again, congratulations to our top 3 overall. 3rd place, Caleb Sumich. 2nd place, James Wallace. And your winner once again, Janusz Stiak from Germany. And you might want to stand back because they're about to pop those bottles and celebrate with the fizz. So congratulations to our overall top 3. Great stuff. Well done. Well done. Are they doing national anthem? Just like trophies. Are we doing national anthem?
It has to be done before the trophy.
Yeah, before the trophy.
But they are not late.
Okay, now we move forwards on to our Pro-Am top 3. So first of all, let's welcome up onto the stage in 3rd place for Team GP Elite from Germany. Give it up for Sören Spreng. Great effort from Sören, another strong start for the GP Elite driver, and he takes the 3rd step of the podium. In 2nd place from Saudi Arabia for Saudi Racing, makes some noise for Khaled Al-Akmadi. Fine drive from the Pro-Am pole, kept his rivals honest and takes the runners-up spot in class. Well done to him. But the victory, his teammate from Saudi Arabia, also from Saudi Racing, makes some noise for Saud Al-Saud. Congratulations to Saud, top step of the podium. And the trophy presentations again, Dr. Manfred Breunel will again hand the 1st place trophy in Pro-Am class to Saud Al-Saud. Congratulations to him. Another piece of silverware for him. 2nd place trophy presented to Khaled Al-Akmadi by Wissam Khalil, the General Manager of Ali & Sons. And that will go to our 2nd place man. Congratulations. And the 3rd place trophy, once again, presented by Mohammed Al-Hashmi, Track and Motorsport Manager of the Yas Marina Circuit, to Sören Spreng. Congratulations. And if all three of our drivers can head to the top step for a group photo together once more. And once again, your top three in Pro-Am. Third place, Zoran Sprang. Second place, Khaled Al Akmadi. And your class winner in Pro-Am, Saud Al Saud. Congratulations, drivers. We make way for our next podium. And I'm hopeful to try and do that again in race number 2 tomorrow. So now we move on to our Masters podium. And a fine battle there all raced on between the three drivers in this class. Let's first of all start with the man in third place in Masters from the Czech Republic. Make some noise for Petr Breka. Plenty of support for Petr as he makes his way to the third step on the podium. In second place, after a fine drive once again, the popular Japanese driver, it's Banksy. A great battle for the class lead. Couldn't quite replicate the Dubai victories, but he'll be back tomorrow to try and put that right. And a brilliant victory on debut in the championship for the Enrico Fulgenzi Racing team from Italy. Make some noise for your Masters winner in race number 1, Alessandro Giannone. He gets the biggest cheer of the lot, and up to the top step of the podium goes the Italian. A fine drive using all his experience, having been here last weekend at the Abu Dhabi 6 Hours. So once again, the first place trophy presented by Dr. Manfred Broinel. And that will go to Alessandro Giannone. Congratulations to the Italian. His first Carrera Cup Middle Eastern trophy on his debut. Well done. Second place trophy once again presented by Wissam Khalil. And that will go to Banksy from Japan. And again, another fine trophy to take home for him to his homeland. And the third place trophy again presented by Mohamed Al Hashmi. And that goes to Petr Breka of the Czech Republic. Well done to Petr. And once again, drivers, if we can have you on the top step together for a group photo. So all three of you together on the top step, please. And as they pose for photos, once again, your top three in Masters for race 1. Third place, Petr Breka. Second place, Banksy. And a first Masters win for Enrico Fulgenzi Racing's Alessandro Giannone. Congratulations as they head off the podium. And our next top three is going to be for the GCC competitors, for those drivers from the Gulf region. So we'll bring them up in reverse order once again. So first of all, make some noise for third place man, making his debut in the championship for Proton Huber competition from Oman. Make some noise for Shihab Al Habsi. A fine drive despite dropping down on the final lap, but still an excellent third place for Shihab. And a trophy for him on his debut in the GCC category. Second place, returning back to the podium for Saudi Racing from Saudi Arabia, it's Khaled Al Akmadi. Excellent job, another trophy for him to take back to the garage tonight. And to add to his Pro-Am victory, he takes the GCC win as well, once again for Saudi Racing from Saudi Arabia, Saud Al Saud. Onto the top step he goes. And the first place trophy again presented by Dr. Manfred Broinel to Saud Al Saud, top of GCC. Second place trophy once again presented by Wissam Khalil, and that will go to Khaled Al Akmadi. Do we have a team member for Saudi Racing? And the third place trophy presented by, once again, Mohamed Al Hashmi, and that goes to Shihab Al Habsi, a debut GCC trophy on his debut in the championship. Well done. And once again, drivers, if you can gather together on the top step for a group photo, please. And once again, your GCC top three from race 1 at Yas Marina. Third place, Shihab Al Habsi. Second place, Khaled Al Akmadi. And Saud Al Saud, your winner in GCC for race 1 here in Abu Dhabi. Congratulations. And if they come off the podium, there's one more trophy to present. And that's going to be for our winning team in this round. And to represent the team manager Paul Spooner. So congratulations as the drivers walk off to the trophy being presented for the top team. And that is Saudi Racing So Paul Spooner, if you can come to the trophy. Saudi Racing, your top team here at race 1 for Abu Dhabi. And also being joined by his drivers, Khaled Al Akmadi and Saud Al Saud. And the trophy for the top team, once again presented by Wissam Khalil, General Manager of Ali & Sons. He'll present that to Team Manager Paul Spooner, Manager of Saudi Racing, your top team from race number 1 here in Yas Marina. And a round of applause again for Saudi Racing, your team winners from race 1 here at Abu Dhabi. Well done. And then before we finish, if the drivers can stay where they are, and also drivers, if we can get all of our trophy recipients for a group photo together from race number 1 to finish off today's festivities. Great to see all of them, and also we'll have some of our key team members from Porsche Motorsport and the official partners, Lechner Racing, up onto the top step of the podium. And up onto the top step of the podium together. And for, once we get them all in position. And for one last time, make some noise for your trophy recipients and class winners for race 1 of Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East here at Yas Marina. Make some noise for your trophy victories in race number 1. Congratulations to all who received trophies. Congratulations to our winner, Janis Stiak, and all of our class victors. That's the action done here from Yas Marina for today. One more race coming up tomorrow with qualifying in the morning and race 2 coming up. But from all of us here at Yas Marina for the time being, from myself, Scott Woodwis, and all of us in Abu Dhabi, thanks for watching, thanks for being here. We'll see you for more action here at Yas Marina for race number 2 tomorrow. But until then, bye for now.
Hi, hello, sound check.
Hey guys, are we ready?
Six rounds.
12 races.
Tough competition.
Real racing.
From Bahrain to Saudi Arabia.
Iconic tracks.
And breathtaking destinations.
This is the second season.
This is the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
We're ready to go.
That's it?
That's it.
Danke.